Everyone, we're going to go ahead and kick this barbecue off, which hopefully the food from Taylor's Barbecue has been delicious for you. We're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to have the sheriff lead us off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I know many of you have heard me say what I'm about to say about our U.S. flag. This United States flag, which is conspicuously posted behind me, means more than just that of a free country. Those red stripes in that flag represent hardiness and valor. Those white stripes represent purity and innocence. And the blue in that flag represents perseverance, vigilance, and justice for all. That's who we are as a country. So when we pledge allegiance to the flag, it means a lot to me. We pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. So if you could all please follow along with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hoorah!
All right. First up to welcome the guest here is former United States Attorney appointed under President Donald Trump for the state of Delaware, Ms. Julie Ann Murray.
Good choice. I'm the rah-rah. And just for people who don't know me, I am the former United States Attorney. I was actually personally interviewed by Donald John Trump in the Oval Office, did not know I was going to get that opportunity. Have this wonderful conversation with him. He looks at me and he says, "Do you want the job?" Yeah. But the problem is we do live in a very politically divisive world. I can't get those blue slips. The senators don't play ball, so I'm no longer the U.S. attorney, but I'm still wreaking havoc, which is great. But when I finished and I was appointed, Mike Lewis reached out to me and I said, "You're not going to believe what a presidential challenge coin looks like." And I sent him a picture that he was like, "Oh my gosh." So how did we meet? I ran for Attorney General of Delaware. Delaware is a very, blue state. And I got within 12,000 votes in 2022 of taking out an incumbent Attorney General. And this man was wonderful in support of me, and we have absolutely had a friendship since then. I also regularly am on radio on 92.7. And run for office, I've been a party chair, I've been all over the place in politics. Why do you care? Because I've been to the primaries. Okay, when Mike and I talked about this election, I said to him, my concern, you're very popular, right? People love you, but they're not used to voting for you in June. They're used to voting for you in November. So it is very, very important for everybody to understand this support. The show of support is amazing. It's wonderful. You have to tell people they have to vote in this primary. They just aren't used to it. So, and primaries are all about turnout, and they're about a very low number of votes. So, we cannot let this man down. We cannot let this county down. Everybody has to, I know you're saying she's from Delaware, she's not voting, but you all are. And all of your friends and your circles, this is what social media is all about. Use it. If you're not a social media person, you talk to the people in your church. You talk to people in the grocery store. On election day, everywhere you go, you say, "Hey, did you vote? Did you vote for Mike Lewis?" It's not a problem to say that, but it's very important. I would stump for you anywhere that I possibly can. And I need everybody to understand this is not a done deal. Listen to me on that. As popular and wonderful as this man is, this is not a done deal. Everybody has to show up and vote, and you have to get everybody you know to vote so that we can make sure that you make it to the general election. He is actually in less jeopardy in the general than you are in the primary because people just aren't used to it. June. You're voting in June. All right, I know. I got other people who need to be here, but thank you for your friendship and your support. And thanks to all of you for being here and showing up for you. He works for you incredibly hard. When I came down to visit with him, I don't know, about 6 weeks ago, we went to lunch and something happened and he was like, "We gotta go." And we went with lights and sirens. It was very exciting, I have to say. and I'm in the back seat Nick, who is standing in the back, was with me. He's filming the whole thing, and Mike is just cool as can be. He's like, you know, you get these people who don't pull over and you have to weave around them, but the whole time he's just cool as a cucumber as we're going well over 100 miles an hour. And I was like, all right, this is good. So, you know, thank you for the fast ride. And thanks to everybody for being here. Thanks again for supporting my club. Thanks.
Where's Denise? There she is. And where's Adam? Adam, she rode with your dad and your husband. Have any of you ever been in the car with Mike Lewis? Whoa. And that was not an emergency, so God loves Denise for having a ride with Mike. Next we'll hear from Maryland State Senator Johnny Mouse.
I would have had my official senatorial jacket and my fancy stuff, but you get the real deal. And that's what you get with Mike Lewis. You get the real deal. I just finished Annapolis. We just finished the session. During time he died. And 2014, I got into the General Assembly and the politics and things like that. Martin O'Malley had been the governor. And I did that because there were some big problems. You guys remember the rain tax, all the things that Martin O'Malley had been doing. And it was a real problem back then. 10 years later, we don't have problems in this state right now. We have an absolute crisis. It is a crisis right now in the state of Maryland. You wouldn't know it because we just did an election year session where everything was blanketed over, everything was sort of trying to make it look like there weren't any real big problems. But let me tell you, have no doubt that the crisis is here right now. The people in Annapolis don't want you to know that. But it's here right now, and you're going to find out next year after the election. The plan is to make everybody feel good, have the election, and then we wake up next year and look out. Oh my gosh, it's for real. It's for real. And there's no more important position in government than your elected sheriff. And the crisis that I'm talking about, it's across the board, but it is in public safety more than anything else in our state. We just spent 90 days watching the legislature roll back public safety, and nobody really knows about that. Juveniles are used to have to be charged as adults for serious violent crimes, including crimes with firearms. Right now, because of what just happened, they don't have to go to an adult court anymore. They're going to go to juvenile services. That type of thing that's happening, that's the state putting these mandates, right, on all of us as citizens. And our only protection, our only defense for public safety is sitting here in front of me, Mike Lewis. He's your sheriff. He's the highest law enforcement officer in the land. He's the one who decides what's constitutional or not, when you enforce the law. And you know, you're going to make a decision. We all have to make a decision, right? Election day is coming up, right? Who are you going to pick? Let me tell you, there isn't another sheriff in the United States of America that has stood taller, has stood stronger, and has stood louder than our very own Mike Lewis. And Mike, I worked in Washington, D.C. for 16 years for the House Committee on the Judiciary. There isn't a position in law enforcement, local, state, or federal, where I haven't met those leaders. I can tell you, the man right here, the flesh and blood, he's got all that and more to give. The problem is there's a primary election, and it's a June election, Sheriff Lewis. It's a challenge. It's a real challenge. It's a bitch, because nobody wants to vote.
I wanted to say that.
Nobody wants to vote. It's summertime. You got people with you need to get your dirt turned. You got to get your chickens out. You got to get your fish off your boat. You got to get to work. People are taking vacations. There can be no excuses. No excuses. Call your friends. Call your family. Tell them this one really matters. Because if we lose Mike Lewis, we all lose. Because they're coming after us with an Annapolis. They already have come after us. And our only saving grace is standing right here. He's put his name, his life, his reputation out there for us. Now it's our turn to stand up and support him. God bless you, Mike. It's an honor to be here. And thank you all for being here to support him. Let's get this thing going.
Go get them. Go get them.
And Mike's gonna give you a ride home.
I had that ride, but I'm in, man.
All right, next we will hear from our Senator, Senator Mary Beth Carosa.
Wicomico County. Wicomico County Sheriff Mike Lewis, proven leadership. Let's hear it, proven leadership. I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach. I'm going to take my mom's advice. I'm going to speak from the heart. Because to me, the proven leadership isn't a slogan on that sign. I know Mike Lewis since my public service with Governor Bob Early. You were a Maryland State Trooper. That's when our public service collided. Mike Lewis and what he did with the Maryland State Police and the drug interdiction program that he ran and was successful. It was so successful that Governor Bob Ehrlich says, I wanted to come up and brief my cabinet. I was a deputy chief of staff working along with Johnny Mounts. We both worked in Governor Bob Ehrlich's administration. And Bob Ehrlich, and I know a lot of you all know and love him, was all about public safety. But he backed you. He backed you. And when he heard about the successes that were going on, he knew that Mike Lewis then was not only keeping Wicomico County safe, but he was keeping the state and the region safe. When you think about what he was doing with that program, up and down 13, north, south, and all, and all the stops that were there, and everything that was stopped from coming into our community. So Bob Ehrlich's like, haul him up. Let's have him brief the cabinet, and he did. And then you look, and then he evolves from his service, the Maryland State Police, to becoming the Wicomico County Sheriff. And he is so well respected, not only around the state, but around the nation. And I want to tell you all something, because Senator Mounts mentioned this. Public safety and law enforcement has been under assault for years. And there were times we had conversations after one of these tough sessions. And I went to you personally and I said, you have to stay in the fight. Because not only are you leading in Wicomico County, not only are you leading on the shore, not only are you leading in the state of Maryland, we know that President Trump has turned to him as the example for law enforcement across the nation. Let's hear it for that, ladies and gentlemen. And speaking from the heart, I was among those that went to Mike Lewis and said, you need to run for re-election. We are at a point with law enforcement under assault in the state of Maryland. We are also at a point, and I want to say this in a very positive way, what Mike Lewis did with leading with this new sheriff's office, that's not just a building, ladies and gentlemen. That is cutting edge. What they're doing out of that building with personnel and training, that's state of the art, not only for Wicomico County, not only for the state of Maryland, not only for the region, but for the entire country. We got it right here in Wicomico County with Mike Lewis's leadership. Let's hear it for that. I'm going to speak from the heart when it comes to, is Mike Lewis there for you and your families? And let me speak from personal experience. Some of you know my late brother, Tony Carosa, public defender in Wicomico County, coach of Little League, loving family man. When we lost my brother to suicide in 2004, you remember who was there from the very beginning. And Mike Lewis, you were there for our family. And then when we as a community went through losing Len Hilliard, and when you think about Mike Lewis being there for the Hilliard family, being there for his law enforcement family, being there as our county family, our region family, you know, those type of events could devastate a community to the point where you don't recover. But that's not what happened. That's not what happened under Sheriff Mike Lewis's leadership. And one of the reminders that I'll always take with me is that one way that Mike Lewis and Tashika Hilliard gave back is to our fallen heroes and their families. They came up to Annapolis and they personally testified in support that those families of the fallen heroes earned and deserve those benefits. And when you think about it, the heartache of losing Len that we went through, the family went through, the law enforcement community went through, we went through, but then to take that and to say, we're going to have some good come out of this. We're going to make sure our fallen hero families are honored. And they came up and personally testified, and it made all the difference. That bill flew through the Senate, flew through the House, and became law. Ladies and gentlemen, that's proven leadership. To go out there and make it positive. You know, we talk about primaries. It's about who you're supporting. That's what it's about. Keep it positive. Talk about Mike Lewis's effective, proven leadership that's made a difference in each one of your family's life. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Senator Croza. My name is Ryan Whittington. I happen to be a volunteer here in Parsonsburg, where I was born and raised. I currently work in Worcester County. And Mike, when I first started here in Parsonsburg, I remember Steve White. We wanted to build this new building that you're all sitting in now. And it was, can we make it a reality? And for the Capitol campaign, we wanted some people in the community who would have our backs. And they said, we're going to ask Sheriff Mike Lewis. We got to meet with the sheriff. He's actually quoted in our Capitol campaign brochure where we went to raise $1 million for this fire station. And you look at where you are today, and part of that has been for Mike Lewis's help and support. And as I look out into this room, it's not only in Mike that I see that, but it's in Wicomico County, and we see people who show up, people who care, and people who look out for one another. And that's really why I like to call Wicomico County home. But I've had the opportunity to see Mike's leadership up close. And one of the things that we think about is one of the negative things that we might hear about Mike, there's not many, but there might be one or two, is that Mike's always in Annapolis. Well, yeah, he is. And that's where he has to be. He has to be in Annapolis fighting for our first responders, not just for the sheriff's deputies. This law that the senator was talking about that goes into effect affects every first responder, EMTs, the persons who come to your house if you're having a stroke, if you stop breathing. If they die in the course of their duty, their loved ones no longer have to pay the state of Maryland taxes. And that's because Mike Lewis was with Tashika Hilliard in Annapolis testifying and fighting for that for our people. So yes, he's in Annapolis. Yes, he's at the county government building because elected officials make decisions that affect how your first responders serve and protect you. Where you're sitting right now, for us to pay our light bill, we have a oyster roast every January to be able to turn the lights on, to be able to put the fire trucks on the street. So having individuals like Mike who are fighting for first responders, it is, I'm telling you, hands down, it's not just about our law enforcement. Mike is there for our firefighters, for our EMTs. He's part of those people who show up, part of those people who care, and that's what we have in Wicomico County. So when Mike says that he's going to have our backs, when he's going to keep your business safe, your family safe, it's not lip service. Mike is giving leadership. Mike will be out on the street with the men and women of law enforcement serving you and your families. We see it when we're on the fire trucks. There's Mike Lewis. What's he doing tonight? Something must be going down. There he is. And to Denise and your family, the sacrifices that they make, that's a lot to keep us safe here in Wicomico County. So again, with that, it's my honor and privilege to introduce to you today the man of the hour, our Sheriff, Mike Lewis.
And to everyone here, friends, supporters, family, and neighbors, it really does mean something to look out and see so many familiar faces and a few new ones as well. That's one of the things I always appreciate about serving here in Wicomico County. You don't just serve a community, you get to know it and be very much a part of it. I do want to recognize and thank my command staff and deputies who are in the room. If you are a part of my command staff and deputies, please stand and or raise your hand. Please stand and or raise your hand. By the way, folks, they're in the back because they have your back, and they've got my back all the time. Notice that. Because they've got my back, and they've got your back all the time. I just sent Tony another MPI, Maryland Public Information Act request today. Tony handles all those for me, and they're coming in every single day. People want copies of videotapes and everything else. I would be nowhere without the men and women standing in the back of that room. I'm going to tell you that right now. I couldn't do that. My chief deputy standing off to my right, Gary Baker. We all know Gary Baker. Yeah. AKA Little G. That's what we call him, Little G. Right, Court?
I hate you.
No, it's not like to. I wanted Shelton to sit him on back here when I spoke today, but he wouldn't get up there. Over the years, I've had people stop me in many places, whether it's the grocery store, at ball games, even at events. Sometimes just to say hello, sometimes share a concern, and occasionally to remind me of something I apparently did 10, 20, 30 years ago that they haven't forgotten. That's part of the job too, and honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. Tashika, where are you? Tashika's hiding in the back. Tashika was with me Friday night when a guy walked up to me, and big old burly guy, full beard, and told me that I saved his life 25 years ago. And then he proceeded telling everybody around us that I saved his life 25 years ago. And I truly had no idea what he was talking about. I didn't. And Tashika said, "Is he on crack or what?" I said, "No, I think he's being honest." I just don't remember the guy. I just didn't remember him. I really didn't. But my point is, that happens all the time. When you've been doing what I've been doing for 42 years, you can't possibly remember every positive interaction or negative interaction. And Sheriff Matt Foley, where are you? Stepped out. So we also have President Chief Deputy Nate Passwords of the Wicomico County Sheriff's Office. Former Chief Deputy John Dale Smack of the Wicomico County Sheriff's Office. Both of those guys are dear brothers of mine. You know, this job is not, and has never really been about all law enforcement. It's about relationships you develop and you cultivate along the way. And it's about trust. It's about knowing when things go wrong, when something goes wrong, and we all know sometimes it does, there are people ready to step up and help. And that's what I see looking across this room, not just members of law enforcement, our fire service, but family, neighbors, all in one place. That's how strong our community is. It's not in big speech or headlines, but in moments like this. And I want everybody to know one thing. I've been extremely proud to serve as your sheriff for the last 20 years. I feel I'm as strong as I've ever been. Some mornings when I wake up, it doesn't feel like it. But I feel I'm as strong as I've ever been. I certainly have the courage and determination to serve more today than I ever have. I love this job. It's like having a front row seat to the greatest show on earth, quite frankly. Every day you come to work. Every day you come to work. But our country is in trouble. Johnny Mounts mentioned it when he was up here a while ago. It's not just Annapolis, but Maryland is a very troubled state. A very troubled state. And yes, I'm in Annapolis a lot. Yes, I'm down at the border quite a bit. I might be in Texas this week. I might be in Arizona next week. I was supposed to have been in Arizona this past week, but because this is the primary, and I've been busy putting out yard signs every single night between my team, my wife who's leading the charge, and the men and women in this back room, who I'm proud to call my command staff. We've put out over 900 yard signs. At an average of $11.50 a piece, I might add. They're not cheap. Our large 4x8 signs are $67 a piece. The 4x4 signs you're seeing, we've put out many of those all over the county. My point is this, we're not done. We brought probably 150 yard signs with us today. You're welcome to take 1 or 2 or 3 if you need them when you leave here. I want you to. That's why we brought them. We have drink koozies for you to take home. We have window stickers for your windows. We have bumper stickers if you want to put on your bumper or wherever else you might want to put that sticker. We've had those too, haven't we, honey? Had a picture sent to me one day, remember that? And a lady had strapped one across her breast and pulled her breast in and put a bumper sticker and sent it to my wife. I said, can I see? She told me that. I said, I don't believe you, honey. She goes, oh yeah, they did. But I say that only because I want you to go home with a drink koozie. I want you to go home with those stickers. And I want you to remember, it's very important that we vote this year. I love this county. I'm not ready to give up. I need your support. I need your physical support. We need your financial support. We have the energy. We have the strength. And we're not going to slow down. I want to continue to fight when my senator's here. I want to continue to work with Julianne Murray from the state of Delaware. Nick Miles. Nick has been Julianne's staffer for many years, an incredible man. Off to my right, your left, in the blue sweater. Nick Miles is an incredible man.
The small, unassuming man.
Yeah, the small, unassuming man. But Nick has been an incredible conservative. But I want to recognize the important role that our deputies play every single day in our communities. Our deputies see horrendous things. Horrendous things. Whether it's arriving on the scene literally within a minute or two after someone's been shot and they bleed out in a matter of minutes in front of our first responders, to all the suicides, unfortunately, we see on a daily basis. A lot of death, whether it's an unattended death, whether it's a suicide, by hanging, by gunshot, by carbon monoxide, they deal with a whole gamut every day. We handle multiple deaths a week here in this county, as you can imagine. So continue to please pray for our first responders. Please pray for the men and women of the Wicomico County Sheriff's Office. And please pray for our nation. I can't give up. I'm not ready to give up. I love the fact that all of you have shown up here today to be able to assemble many more tables to accommodate at least another 35 or 40 people that we did not anticipate is a good problem to have. That is a darn good problem to have. And on behalf of my wife and my beautiful family, I want to say God bless you all for being here. God bless the state of Maryland. And God bless America. God bless you. Thank you.